Today, Sibley's West is pleased to welcome Diana Madaras, who's been selected Tucson's top visual artist 4 times over the years. She's our guest here on December 1st at Sibley's West, and she is going to answer a few of our questions.
Be glad to.
Well, welcome, Diana.
Thank you.
And for the folks who may not know your background, could you share briefly where do you get your art ideas for art?
You know, it's anywhere that I look. When I became an artist, I started to see the world in a different way, and I started to notice light and shadow and shape and form. And what inspires me is anytime I see a sunlit area with interesting shadows and beautiful contrast between sunlight and shadow. So it can be a very ordinary scene that's made beautiful just by the light on it. So I would say the #1 thing that inspires me is our Arizona light.
Now, you seem to do a lot with different colors, and that seems to be an important part of your art.
Right. I am considered a colorist, which means that I don't necessarily try to represent the scene exactly the way it appears, but more my interpretation of the way it makes me feel. And I don't choose my color palette ahead of time. I kind of just let it unfold, and I may draw out a painting very meticulously, but then just go crazy with the color, and for me that's the excitement of the creative journey.
Mm-hmm. Now, has your art changed over the years? Can you identify any way that what you produce has been different?
Sure. You know, hopefully it gets better as you paint more, and I've been painting for 20 years now, so my work does look different than when I first started, but you can still see a style that's recognizable. My technique has gotten better. I use more soft edge and hard edge, where in the past I was all hard edge, and just I think my painting has matured, and sometimes I'll go a little bit more abstract and then I'll come back to something that's less abstract, and I like to paint different subject matters because it keeps me interested. So variety for me is what keeps me going.
And when did you know you wanted to do this as a career?
Well, it was not in the beginning. I had a whole different career in sports marketing for 18 years, and I started painting again after I went on vacation and saw someone's work, and I got inspired to paint again. And a professor at the University of Arizona saw my paintings, and he said, "I take a group to Greece for a month in the summer to paint, and you're going with us." And I said, "No, I'm not. I can't do that." But he talked me into it, and it literally changed my life. And I came back to Tucson, and I was so unhappy to go back to my former life. And it took me about 3 years to put everything together to sell my marketing company. And at 1996, I became a professional artist full-time.
And now it's 2012,
Yes.
and in Tucson you've got 2 galleries.
Correct.
And can you describe those?
One is more our corporate headquarters. We have a wholesale business, and we have a web business, as well as 2 retail stores. So that's where we do inventory, storage, shipping, corporate offices, and we have a small gallery there. And then our main gallery is at Skyline and Campbell in Gallery Row, where all the major art galleries are in Tucson. And it's a beautiful 3,000 square foot facility with a lot of work.
Uh-huh. Now, you brought an original work with you today, and if you could take a moment and describe it. I believe it's right behind you.
Well, Phoenicians might recognize it as Camelback Mountain, and I was asked to paint this scene for some of our retail stores in Phoenix and Scottsdale, Chandler, that love this landmark that really does say the Phoenix Valley. And I abstracted it a bit, and I, as artists can do, chose to leave out all the development in front of it and made kind of more of a wash in the foreground, and it really turned out to be a fun piece.
And when was this completed?
I just finished this in August.
Ah. And then I understand you had a little accident.
Yes, this was the last painting that I completed before I broke my right hand walking my dogs. And it's been about 4 months since then, and I am happy to say I'm painting with my right hand again.
And you mentioned your dogs, and I know you're very interested in animal
I am.
issues.
I grew up in a veterinary hospital. My dad's a veterinarian, and we lived in an apartment attached to his hospital. And I literally grew up helping him in the hospital. And we started a foundation called Art for Animals when I first opened the gallery, and we've raised about $200,000 for various animal causes over the years. And it's just so ironic that my dogs, that I love dearly, broke my right hand.
Well, thank you very much for coming to Sibley's West.
It's my pleasure.
And best of luck to you in the future.
Thank you so much for having me, John.